always go for someone that's good at arguing with you. And what I mean by good at arguing with you is that they're good during the argument in the sense that they don't escalate the argument in a negative way. There's positive and negative escalation when it comes to arguments. And most people select somebody because they look a certain way, they're good in bed, they feel like this person can be a good partner. And look, I'm all for picking somebody in terms of the initial conversation of how they look, what they could potentially be in bed. Look, we're human here. We like to let our imagination run wild, and we like to see people that could potentially be good for us. But long term, I want you to really start looking at people as the problems that they could have, because you're always going to have problems in a relationship and how they really solve them. Long term in a relationship, you want to look at how people can be in a relationship with you in terms of the arguments and the fights, because there's always going to be issues. There's always going to be problems in your life. There's always going to be something that you guys don't agree on. And it's so important for you guys to actually get along in the argument process. One of the biggest marriage advices that I've ever given out to people and that I've heard from marriage coaches as well is never go to sleep angry at your partner. And this is like something that's been kind of spread around the industry, and it's a really good piece of advice. However, in certain situations, it's actually better to give someone space. So if you just have an argument before bed, it's not like, okay, let's make up and let's go to bed together. Like, it's not always the best thing to do. I'm someone that sometimes has to go to bed angry, because going to bed angry helps me cool off. It helps me think about things and helps me kind of relapse back to that person in the morning. And sometimes I need my space, sometimes I need my distance. But I'm like the 1%. Most situations, I would say you should talk it out with your partner, and in most scenarios, you should have that conversation. But one thing I want you guys to understand is that you're going to have problems with someone. You're going to have arguments with someone. And I would always recommend testing someone when you are jumping in a relationship with them. You know, test them. Say, hey, like, what do you think about this? And disagree with them on purpose. And see if they can understand your opinion, or if they're just like, no, absolutely not. You're wrong. Shut up. You're an idiot. No, you're stupid. See if they do that. And it shouldn't be a guy-girl thing where the guy is always right and the girl's always wrong and the girl should submit. It should be like a 50-50 thing here. Like, the guy, like, as a guy, you have to understand that you're not a woman. You're not going to understand all of her needs. If she wants to go get ice cream on a certain day and you're lactose intolerant and it doesn't make sense for you, you still got to understand what she wants. So look at the way that people argue and look at how they solve problems and arguments.